Anyway, let's get to the crossover, shall we?
Anyways, it's time for the crossover.
I see Don Taylor's brow furrowing. He's sick of our nonsense.
That's right. Don Taylor, Rick Dhaliwal, they are the hosts of Donnie and Dhali, which you can check out 10 to noon Monday to Friday on Check TV, and they join us now as they do every Wednesday for the crossover. What's going on, guys?
Hey, guys.
No, my brown wasn't furrowing at all. I agree with everything you guys say. Did we just lose them?
Nope. We can see you.
Hello.
Okay. We hear you.
Right.
We see you. There we go. We got you back.
I agree with everything you guys say. There was no furrowing.
That's nice. That's very nice of you. So what do you guys think of the win last night? I mean, there's a couple different ways to look at it. You can be concerned about how little the Canucks were able to generate, but on the other hand, I thought defensively they were pretty solid. Lankinen was good, and I think sometimes over the course of 82 games, you're going to have to win games ugly like that, especially on the road.
You could tell Rick Tocchet, he didn't say as much, but you could tell he wasn't happy after the game. He was happy with his goaltender, obviously, but that was about it. By the way, Brandstrom made a great save on an empty net early in that game, and Lord knows what would have happened if that puck went in. But Tocchet talks about it all the time. Sometimes you're not going to be at your best. A lot of time you're not going to be at your best. Even when you're playing beer league, you got to find ways to fight through it and get 2 points. And I think it comes under that category last night, Rick.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kevin Lankinen, our poll question, guys, is he the MVP of the Canucks after 20 games because he hit the 20-game mark last night? I really do believe he is. He's been him and Sherwood have been absolute great finds. He's 10-3-2. He's bridged the gap to Demko very, very nicely. 14 of the last 17 starts. Remember he struggled there for a couple of weeks, guys?
Yep.
And then Tocchet said last night, it was 11 of 12 starts. And Tocchet said, maybe I shouldn't play my goaltenders too much like that. But, boy, this guy, I just can't rave about him enough. Canucks can't sign him till January 1st. Tocchet loves him. He's already hinted at he'd like him back next year. But one thing is clear. I'm going to tell you right now. You're not getting a discount on the next contract with Lankinen. His agent, Todd Diamond's already given the Canucks a break. The next contract will be market value, or he's going to go to July 1st. It's not going to be a cheap contract, and it'll have to be term. And this regime hates paying. If you go back and look at the money this regime has given the backup spot.
Yes.
They don't like like paying a ton for the backup spot. And they got lucky with Lankinen this year. Very, very lucky. $875 is a dream for what he's producing. But I got a feeling that's not going to be there anymore. You're not going to get him that cheap. And if they want Lankinen next year, they're going to have to buck up a whole lot more than $875.
Boy, guys, isn't it this has to be one of the strangest starts to a season ever. I don't know if it's going to continue or not. Obviously, I don't know that. But all the road wins, they can't win it at home. They've got a goaltender who came out of nowhere who can't lose on the road. And then that strange stat from last night with Garland and DeBrusk scoring. Now they both have 6 goals. They have 7 players tied for the team goal-scoring lead with 6 goals each. This is just really, really strange. Does it get better from here? I'm not sure. I'll tell you this. It's great for us, great for you guys, great for talk shows. There's never a dull moment, so nothing's predictable. Never a dull moment.
It's been super weird. I have to give the Vancouver media like a collective pat on the back here because what's the one thing we all said was going to be a strength of this team coming into the season? It was forward depth. And now they literally have 7 forwards tied for the team lead at 6 goals. Like, hey, we've got a lot wrong, but we got that one right. We nailed that one, at least so far through the season.
Love to be right.
Absolutely.
I know you do.
Love to be
right.
You do. My favorite thing. Lankinen played well, gentlemen, but I do think we struggle sometimes when you see a game where one team has 30 plus and the other team has 12 to sort of say like the goaltender stole it. When I really thought Boston's offense, I thought Boston's shooters were bad last night. I didn't think they looked very dangerous at any point in the game. And I credit Vancouver's defensive play. I credit Lankinen for playing solidly, but it didn't feel like a goalie stole a point game to me or a goalie stole the win game to me. It kind of felt like Boston was not playing well and Vancouver was better materially. I think Vancouver deserved that that win at the end of the night. What do you think? Do you think Boston looked like they had any venom offensively?
Well, you know what might have summed it up is I thought Lindholm at the end just kind of flipped the puck at the net, like instead of just cranking it and hoping if it didn't go straight in, it went off somebody and there was a big rebound. Maybe that sums it up. But now that you say that, I think about it. And you just expect so much from the Boston Bruins, given their recent history, their history going way back. And yeah, I didn't feel they were super dangerous. But then again, to go against what I just said and what you said, Thomas, you could tell Tocchet wasn't happy after the game. Maybe he felt his team. I definitely felt his team stole one. Didn't say as much. You could just tell by his body language.
And Thomas, you seem surprised that Boston didn't test him much, but they are the second lowest scoring team in the National Hockey League. Last night, this is a team that is struggling to score goals. It's been their number one problem in Boston this year. And, hey, look, it was a great situation for the Canucks last night because they can play Lankinen last night and then go with Seelovs tonight in Pittsburgh. It's a really good setup. And now they're going to face a team tonight. We had a Pittsburgh reporter on today, and he absolutely...
Josh Yohe from The Athletic.
Yeah, yes. Josh Yohe, Drance's buddy there.
Yeah,
he was very critical. He was very critical of how bad the Penguins are. They're starting to see empty seats in Pittsburgh, which, and you guys know, is a great hockey town. They just love their hockey in Pittsburgh. And I think there was 2,000 empty seats at the last home game. Carlson's been absolutely dreadful, he said. There's another team. They're giving up, leaking. I think they're number one in the NHL in goals against. They can't score. We talked about Pettersson, the defenseman. He did say something interesting. Jim Rutherford absolutely loves Marcus Pettersson in Pittsburgh. Absolutely loves him. And Donnie threw the question at Josh about, would Sidney Crosby leave there? He actually said if Sidney Crosby did leave, he thinks Vancouver would be on, somewhere near the top of his list. And I'll tell you, I see you, Dodd, shaking your head there, but I'll tell you why.
No, I'm smiling. Let's go. Let's get the Crosby to Vancouver rumors started.
Yeah, Donnie's been on that for a couple of weeks, but you know what?
No, I did. I said when he signed the contract, 8.7, I thought to myself, that's low, but movable. And I've been backed up by several people. I know Thomas agrees.
Okay, back to Josh.
Maybe
he
not.
said that Crosby absolutely loves Rutherford, and he absolutely loves Tocchet. So,
and Patrick Alvin.
And he loves scoring historic gols in the city of Vancouver, baby.
That's true.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he just got number 600.
Let's go.
A historic goal to maybe win something. I don't know. I don't know. Could just saying. What a curse breaker.
So what you're saying is the Canucks really need to stomp the Penguins tonight. So Crosby wants is like, guys, I've had enough of this. I want to join them.
Yeah, I want to jump. Yeah, it was sad the other night when he scores against Utah, and Josh Yohe mentioned, a lot of empty seats, 6-1 loss.
Yes.
To not a new franchise, but a franchise that has had all sorts of trouble. It was just kind of sad.
Yep. At least it was the 2-1 goal, though.
Has to be.
At least it was the 2-1 goal.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't it's not like they were down 6 and he scored like a meaningless one with 5 minutes to go. Like, at least the game was still competitive in the moment. So he got to be like, yeah, we're going to get back in this. And then, they Penguinsed it. With the Lankinen conversation that you sort of bring up, Rick, because you're right. Like, not only has this Rutherford Alvin front office, gone very affordably with their backup goaltender, throughout their time here. I mean, Spencer Martin and Shelovs and Lankinen and on. But also, like Matt Murray was on an ELC when he was backstopping or sharing the crease with Marc-Andre Fleury. And the moment they signed him to an extension, they paid to get off of Marc-Andre Fleury in the expansion draft, right? Like going back 10, 15 years. Rutherford teams don't tend to pay their backups. But how does that sort of interact? I mean, we do think Demko's getting in soon, right? Maybe on this road trip, maybe when they get back home. But we know he's coming back soon, and we know that, hey, like, across multiple seasons now, when Demko has hit 60-plus games in a season, like, it hasn't necessarily meant good things for his health and sort of longevity here. How does the Demko situation and sort of the decisions they'll face this summer, Rick, in your view, sort of have to modify the way that the club allocates money to the backup position?
Yeah. Well, Tocchet's already hinted a few weeks ago he'd like to see him back, Lankinen. But then you got to keep one eye on Seelovs. Okay,
Yeah.
What is Seelovs going to do if they re-sign Lankinen? He's not going to be doing cartwheels, right? He won't be happy because he probably.
What's
thought
the
this
opposite
year
of cartwheels?
was the
Yeah,
year
we
he-
need the opposite.
Well,
we know when someone's happy, they're doing cartwheels.
Direction, maybe.
You only do cartwheels when you're happy. What are you talking about?
But
He's
what's
not
the
doing cartwheels
opposite?
if they
What do
sign
you do when
Lankinen.
you're upset?
Because you said we know
Donnie,
what we
help
don't
me
know
out
what.
here.
Well, maybe
No.
you do a cartwheel in the opposite direction.
You do a somersault.
You get fetal position and shake back and forth. No, like you said we
Listen
know
to
what
me.
he's. We are trying to.
Stop the cartwheel talk. Forget about cartwheels. Listen to me. He's not going to be doing cartwheels if they sign Lankinen.
You just told us to forget about cartwheels. Then you said it.
Oh my! I'm trying to rephrase. Get back
Who's
into my
doing
story.
cartwheels, by the way?
Seelovs ain't going to be doing cartwheels
Okay.
if they re-sign Lankinen.
For some reason, I had the image of Rutherford doing a cartwheel.
Okay. You got to keep an eye on Seelovs, and
Doing
you know
a
what?
cartwheel.
Is he going to be ready in 9 months to be the backup in Vancouver?
Yeah.
That's the key for me. And if you don't think he is, then go ahead and re-sign Lankinen. You know what? Go ahead and do it. But keep in mind, Demko's only got after this year 1 year left on his contract, right?
Right.
But
So you got to keep an eye on that too.
The thing with go ahead and re-sign Lankinen, though, I mean, we'll see how much he plays even once Demko is back, but it could still be a pretty significant amount. And, if he plays, upwards of 30 games this year and has a performance close to what he's already done, to me, he's not looking for a backup role at that point, right? He's going probably somewhere where he can play close to 50% of the games. So, it's great that he's been as good as this, but it might not be their decision ultimately. He might just price himself right out of consideration for that role if he keeps performing like this.
Or this could be a really, considering the front part of his career, the way it's gone, this might be maybe the perfect place for him. In that you have to think that the Canucks, given history with Demko, that they don't want to play him as much, so he'll get a lot of time. I don't know if that would play into his thinking at all, but given what's happened in Chicago and Nashville, they have all sorts of respect for him. But he ended up moving on. Maybe this would be a good place to be with a team that might very well do some special things in the postseason.
It's a fascinating set of sort of considerations for the Canucks in net here. As for the trade market, Rick, you hearing anything about the club's wider trade posture as we sort of approach the quarter mark of the season?
Juracek, Rich.
Yeah, Juracek, they definitely called in on. Columbus told a bunch of teams, including Vancouver, that they didn't have the assets for Juracek, a right shot, 6th overall 2 years ago. Canucks don't have the prospects, and they didn't want to give to Columbus what the Blue Jackets wanted. So that Columbus would have asked for Tom Willander. So then the Canucks are very high on Willander. So internally the Canucks had to decide who's better, Juracek or Willander. Do they really think Juracek is better than Willander? They obviously don't think so because this deal could have been done. Do they get back into it? Who knows? But right now I was told that when Columbus told a bunch of teams that they didn't have the assets, Vancouver was one of them, but they checked in on that. The other one I want to talk about is, Vancouver also kind of wants to wait until Demko's back to see what kind of this team looks like when Demko is up and running. So, have some patience here. Rangers, not a fire sale, but I do want to tell you one defenseman they like on the Rangers, and this regime absolutely loves him, is Braden Schneider. He is a guy that the Canucks, when the Canucks were talking with the Rangers for JT Miller, Schneider's name was one that Vancouver wanted, and the Rangers said, thanks, but no thanks. That's a guy, a good young defenseman that Vancouver's liked in the past, this regime has liked in the past. So, you hear Hoglander's name out there. Is that a chip you could use? But you tell me, and Donnie and I talked a bit about this on the show. Hoglander, 7 minutes last night, no goals in 15.
Rick wants him in the top 6.
No goals in 15 games. No points in 10. 24 goals last year, 2 goals this year, on pace for 8. Can't play him in a 1-0 game in the third last night. The trust is not there with the coach. Why did the Canucks sign this guy for 3 years at $3 million? Did the GM not ask the coach if this is a player you can work with and we'll sign him long term? Now you want to move the kid. If they do, how the hell are you going to move him if there was a pro scout in Boston last night watching him play 7 minutes, parked on the bench in the third? Like, what? How are you going to move this guy? And Donnie and I had the conversation on the show.
We argued about it.
We argued about it. You want to move the guy, okay. How are you going to move him when pro scouts are watching the Canucks and he's playing 7 minutes?
But if you put him in the top 6, maybe you lose the hockey game.
Okay, but then it's one or the other. It's one.
And who are you taking out of the top 6 though? That's the problem.
Do you need to put him in the top 6, or do you just need to, like, this is what I don't understand. Last 10 games, Nils Hoglander has played 4 minutes and 42 seconds on the power play. To put that in context, Daniel Sprong, over the same period of time, has played 4 minutes and 30 seconds on the power play. You know, like, it's one thing to not trust him in a close game where your team is basically abandoned even trying to generate scoring chances and you're in pure hold the fort mode. Right. But it's another to be like, okay, well, we're going to give a ton of power play 2-time to Danton Heinen and Kiefer Sherwood ahead of this guy. And Sherwood, I know he's played incredibly well. But at some point, like, you know, can Hoglander not help you with a line mate like Besser? Would that not help a little bit? Does it not make sense to get him even 5-6 minutes a game early on with sort of at least another skilled player that might just help him feel good about his game or get him some second power play ice time? I mean, I don't think you need to play him in the top 6. There's got to be a mixed, like, there's got to be a middle ground here where you can at least give this guy something to feel good about so that this doesn't, you know, snowball into being a really significant cold streak that eats away at a young guy's confidence.
Yeah, that's obviously interesting. Obviously, Rick Tocchet just doesn't believe in him, and maybe in spurts he has, Thomas.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure.
Well, the interesting thing, though, like, Johnny. But I was just about, like, you said Rick Tocchet has believed in him in spurts, and Rick's question about, like, did the front office and the coaching staff talk? Like, Hoglander was one of the good news stories of training camp, right? Like, best shape on the team, came in, played really well. It seemed like he had earned. Yeah. He seemed like he had earned the trust of the coach.
Yes.
That's what makes everything that's happened since so surprising. It flipped on a dime, really. Yep. And it just hasn't been the same since.
Well, he missed a back check against the Carolina Hurricanes.
It always comes down to the 200-foot game.
They play without the puck.
Like
There's
Tocchet.
no trust.
And you know what? When Tocchet talks positively about Nils Hoglander, he always brings up the forecheck. Yeah. He always talks about, you know, like he is a demon when he's forechecking. I haven't seen a whole, mind he has been on the ice all that much, but I haven't seen a whole lot of that. And obviously he feels that his 200-foot game isn't there, or he's not working hard enough on the forecheck.
There's been a lot of penalties.
But then again, you did extend the guy. It's a real head scratcher in a weird situation in the start of a really weird season.
Guys, and he played 7 minutes last night. Him and Arshdeep Bains, they played 7 minutes last night. 7.
Yeah.
But
they won.
Donnie, I know that. And the other thing I'm going to tell you right now, Hoglander and his agent talked to the Canucks in the summer. They had brief talks. Do you know when this contract negotiation picked up? Was when he showed up to camp in great shape. Mm-hmm. And when he showed up to camp in great shape, they called his agent and said, you know what, we want guys like this in Vancouver. He's a great role model for young kids showing up. He was 1, 2, or 3 in fitness tests. And that's where negotiations took up when he came to camp and he was in great shape. So now you go from 3 times 3 to fourth line, 7 minutes. Guy's got no confidence. I mean, how do you move him now? And his name's popping up all over the place. You can't hear a Canuck rumor without Hoglander's name in it.
Are we going to get to the point, guys, where Hoglander's people say, or his agent says, look, I got to get out of here.
What a great point, Don.
You know,
what a great point.
Time's ticking on my career.
Yep.
Obviously, the head coach who isn't going anywhere, doesn't like me. Maybe it's time to move on.
Bang on, Don.
You probably buy yourself some time with the extension.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not like he needs a new deal, right? He's got a little bit of runway before his next deal. So this year, I think you can still muddle through with it, right? And try to, maybe you get to the summer and you try to kind of reset things. Okay, clean slate, come in next year, and we'll start again on the new deal. But his usage can't be like this at $3 million. No, absolutely not. It can't, especially when he's like 25, right?
No.
Yeah.
No, and the other thing is, guys, his agent is obviously sitting back. And his agent's got six, 7 clients on Vancouver. If you consider Abbotsford too, Donnie,
and guys like Sawyer Mineo.
He's the new Dan. He's the new Dan Milstein.
Yeah,
Who's his agent?
Alain Waugh.
Okay.
Waugh, ROY, but it's Waugh.
Yeah.
Alain Waugh.
Yeah,
Anyways,
we're familiar with that name.
Anyways, he's got Mineo in Seattle, who's a great young kid. He's going to be on the Canadian junior team at the World Juniors, Johnny. But he's got to be concerned. Let's be honest.
You'd think so with the way his client is playing and the usage he's getting right now. And Rick, you mentioned that they want to wait and see what the team looks like with Thatcher Demko back in the fold. Maybe gave him a little bit of time to kind of get back up to speed before they really make any moves. Does that extend to JT Miller as well? And obviously that's a unique situation. And we heard just a little bit of an update from Patrick Alvin yesterday. We don't know the details, but he's such an important part of the team when he's available. Is it a case where they want to wait until he's back in the lineup, right, to see what they've got before they do some wheeling and dealing as well?
Yeah, he could be back after the road trip. Like that Columbus game, I think on December 6th, he could be back for that. I know some people are saying he might take a little bit longer. I'm not hearing that. He could be back for that Columbus game. Obviously, we can't do much about JT. We just got to wait and let him. Yeah. Deal through, what he's going through.
But the point he's making is that it's tough to evaluate the team, given what's happened through 20 games, and they haven't had a full lineup yet.
No, they haven't.
Led by, their goaltender.
Absolutely. Let everybody get healthy, and let's see if it's. And by the way, guys, they're only 2 points off last year's 20-game pace, which they won 50 games. So, a lot of doom and gloom and adversity, but they're only 2 points off thanks to their road record, which is 8-1. They've been awful at home, but thanks to their road record, they're right there where they were last year.
Pretty interesting, by the way. Haven't played any of the top 10 teams in the league on the road yet. Just putting that out there as context for what we've seen on the road.
Mr. Negative.
Seems like useful context.
Shame on you, Thomas.
I'm sorry.
They've won 8 straight on the road. They're 8-1, and you're going to bitch about it and say,
road
they haven't played anyone? Give me a break.
No, I just, I don't think there's no reason that they're better on the road than home. And I think as the sample expands, we'll see it come back together. And I think competition's probably the most likely explanation. Seems reasonable.
Yeah, and then also the lack of back-to-back. Well, they've got one now. And they're
playing a
first one.
Back-to-backs. Their schedule's been pretty good. I'll give you that.
Donnie,
their schedule's been favorable.
One of the best, easiest schedules in the National Hockey League. They are very lucky with the schedule. They cannot complain in October, November about the schedule. But the Vegases of the world and the Dallases and the Winnipegs, all those guys are coming up in the second half, and they're going to have to get their stuff together in the second half because the schedule is going to be a whole lot tougher in the second half.
Well, and I think the hope is at that point, at some point, right, you got to hope that you have, healthy Demko, healthy and right JT Miller, Pettersson playing better than he was earlier in the year, and Hughes and Besser all in the lineup at the same point, right, which obviously hasn't happened up to this point. And I think what we've seen so far from the Canucks, and the schedule has helped a lot, is with Rick Tocchet coaching, right, with Quinn Hughes, the goaltending from Kevin Lankinen, they can hang in a lot of games, especially in a soft schedule. But to find that next gear where we look at them as real Stanley Cup contenders, it's going to take all of those key players being in the lineup together and firing on all cylinders, which, we just haven't come close to seeing on either front yet this year.
Yeah, with those players in the lineup in a tougher schedule, maybe it all works out, which, speaking, I use the word weird again, but Saturday, I know it was Ottawa, I get that, but them winning that game without, Miller, Besser, Demko, Hughes played 7 minutes before he got suspended, just adding to the strangeness of the season, but hard to evaluate at this point.
All right, we'll let you guys go there, and I look forward to next week. We'll get another update on the Sidney Crosby to Vancouver trade talks, which I'm sure are ongoing.
Okay.
Pending tonight's result, I guess.
Donnie and I are going on to Beatty Street. We're going to do some cartwheels. See you later.
It's Todd Taylor.
Now that I want to see.
Absolutely. Film that. And send us the video, guys, of you two doing cartwheels down
Please do
Beatty
that
Street.
on the show.
All right, thanks, guys. We'll talk next week. That is Don Taylor and Rick Dhaliwal from Donnie and Dhali. Monday to Friday, you can check them out 10 to noon on Check TV, and they join us every Wednesday here on The Crossover. Love the Cartwheel Report from from Dhali. Always a highlight when he breaks out the cartwheel report.